ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰ ਭਰੀ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ। ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਆਪਣੀ Sonia West. We are here in Cloverdale at an undisclosed location ਜਿੱਥੇ Premier EB ਨੇ ਅੱਜ announcement ਕਰਵਾਉਣੀ ਆ about the platform of the NDP party for the provincial election. So let's take you in the backyard here to see what the Premier has to say and find out what their promises are.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to our home, coming to Surrey, coming to the riding of Surrey Serpentine River. My name is Baltej Singh Dillon. I am the BC NDP candidate for this riding. And I want to make sure none of you got attacked by our attack cat this morning. Yes, I know. She's inside, so I'm glad you're all safe. Look, let me first start by... Let me first start by acknowledging that we're on the traditional territories of the Katsi, Coquitlam, Kwantlen, Semiahmoo, Tsawwassen, people of the Coast Salish Nation. We remember the harm, the pain, and the injuries of yesterday to be better today and tomorrow. And that work continues. It's my immense pleasure and proud to introduce to you our leader and our next Premier, Mr. David Eby.
Thanks, Baltej, to you and your family for hosting us here today. Just a small group to drop by the house and see how everything's going. I really appreciate you hosting us here. We've got a bunch of folks joining us today for the announcement, and their experiences reflect the experiences of British Columbians. It's tough out there right now for lots of people. Global inflation, making things more expensive for people. Interest rates rising the fastest in a generation. Anyone with any kind of debt or having to renew a mortgage finds themselves with less money at the end of the month. These challenges of affordability, access to housing, high quality healthcare, they're not unique to British Columbia, but that's what drives me, is working to solve those problems, those challenges for British Columbians. And today I'm really proud to be releasing our plan, an action plan for you, because this isn't about anything other than you and your family. About British Columbians providing you with the support that you need to be successful, to build your life here in British Columbia. I believe in British Columbia's potential, and our biggest asset is our people. And this plan, as a result, is about building up that asset, building up you and your family so we can all be successful. First, action to support you on the cost of daily life. Core to this platform is recognizing that you and your family need support right now, not 5 years from now. Maybe if you qualify and are able to gather all your documents together, but right away. $1,000 for the average household immediately in a rebate in the first year of our government, followed by a consistent tax cut, $1,000 for the average household going forward. Now, we're joined here today by Mike and Fatma and their twin grown-up kids. And this tax cut means for them that their family will all benefit. That when their kids are working, when they're out there in the working world, they're going to benefit from it. It doesn't matter that they're still living at home. They still have those affordability challenges. They're still saving up to either pay for school or to cover the costs of daily life. And they need to benefit as well. Just like Mike and Fatma need to benefit from the cut. It shouldn't be that the person who benefits, as under John Rustad's long wait program, is the person who owns the penthouse in downtown Vancouver that benefits the most. Under our plan, multi-generational families who are living together benefit from the program. People who live in small communities that have lower rents or lower house costs, they benefit the same way as 90% of all British Columbians. We think that's fair, we think that's right, And that's the support that we will provide to you and your family right away. In addition to the tax cut for families across the province, for small business people like Mike and Fatima and their family, and for your family, our platform also includes an expansion of before and after school care, affordable before and after school care across the entire province, using existing school buildings, using existing educational assistant staff, ensuring that we're able to do two things: deploy this really quickly so it actually makes a difference in your life. Parents' jobs don't start at 9 and end at 3. They need that support before and after school with childcare. And we're going to make sure we deliver that based on a successful model we've deployed already at 4 different school boards in the province. And it will come to your community as well. You know, on the issue of housing, we're joined here by Marcus. Marcus attends school at UBC. He's an undergrad student. He attends in my home community of Vancouver Point Grey. And as an undergraduate student, Marcus is a part of a cohort of people that I worry about a lot. You know, he's the future of our province. Young people are the future of our province. And I need, and we all need, for them to be able to see an opportunity to build a life for themselves here in British Columbia. And Marcus didn't think it was possible to be able to own a home in this province until he heard about our announcement of providing that financing to support first-time homebuyers to buy into the market at 40% below market. 5,000 homes every year for the next 4 years, to make sure, for the next 5 years, to make sure that British Columbians like Marcus see a future for themselves in the housing market. John Rustad doesn't see that government has a role to play in making sure that Marcus can see a future for himself in this province. He says that government shouldn't be involved in delivering affordable housing like this. He used some pretty colorful language to say that he would cancel this program. Well, I just couldn't disagree more with his perspective. I think this is a core responsibility of the provincial government and of anyone who wants to be the premier in British Columbia. In addition to that financing program, we're going to make sure that that British Columbia families are put first in line for housing, ahead of the speculators and ahead of the investors. Addressing everything from people who leave homes vacant as investments to people who buy up whole homes or condos to turn into Airbnb. Nothing against short-term rental. I think it's great on vacation, but I don't want British Columbia families competing with people to buy a home who are only going to use it as a hotel room. The priority needs to be British Columbia families, and I'll stand with them every single time. We'll also address blind bidding. So when you finally get into the housing market, you're not overpaying for the home that you need with unnecessary costs, to make sure there's transparency in the bidding process. Around healthcare, you know that healthcare is so important for British Columbians. Access to a family doctor. If you're in need of urgent medical care, an emergency room that is open and operating and ready to support you without a long wait. We have a plan in place to deliver care when and where you need it. We're finally turning the corner on family doctors. We've connected 250,000 people in the last year, and that rate of connection is accelerating with more than 800 new family doctors taking patients in this province. We are projecting by the end of 2025 that every single person who wants to be connected to a family doctor or a nurse practitioner will be through our Health Connect registry. We're building new hospitals, like here in Surrey, just down the road in Cloverdale, a new hospital, but 30 new expanded or brand new hospitals across the province because we cannot afford to live in our grandparents' infrastructure anymore. John Rustad and his government borrowed against the future, and the cost is coming due now. We need these hospitals. We need this transportation. We need this infrastructure. We're also going to train the next generation of doctors. We're going to train them right here in Surrey at a brand new medical school at SFU, a medical school that's focused on training people who are committed to community care across the province of British Columbia for you and for your families. On the issue of ensuring a safe community for everybody, I think that whether the issue is seeing people struggling with mental health, addiction, and brain injuries on the streets of our communities, or issues of organized crime, ensuring safety for you and your family, everyone needs to feel safe in British Columbia, whether they're the ones struggling in the streets or whether they're the community member who just wants that person to get the care that they need and deserve. We'll support the people who need help, and we'll give the police the tools they need to address organized crime. One thing that I will promise we will never do is we will never direct the police not to enforce gun laws in British Columbia. Restricted firearms, handguns, semi-automatic rifles have no place on the streets of British Columbia. And I will ensure that police not only are able to use resources to enforce the gun laws, but have all of the resources they need to be able to chase down and address gangsters who would traffic in firearms and have restricted weapons. The idea that John Rustad has put forward and defended again yesterday in our debate when I asked him directly about it, that he would tell law enforcement they are not allowed to spend money to enforce those gun rules, is dangerous. And you can talk to Baltej Dillon behind me, a decorated RCMP officer, former RCMP officer, and he will tell you what that means for police officers in our street to lose that tool of enforcement when it comes to organized crime and gangsters. It's dangerous. Now, one of the things that we're seeing from the Conservatives is that they're just not focused on what matters to you and your family. You know, there's a combination of things that we're hearing. One is an array of conspiracy theories that are bizarre in the extreme, coming from John Rustad and his candidates, denying the realities that we can see around us, the impacts of climate change, the fact that vaccines work. But the other piece is his commitment over 16 years in government, which he pretended in our debate yesterday never happened, was to cut the services you depend on. And we're joined here by Marjorie and Diana, who lived through that experience when John Rustad was in government, when he was in cabinet. And they will tell you about what it meant to work in a privatized healthcare system. You know, Diana told me about how she had to work 2 jobs, which meant as a single mom, she couldn't spend time with her son. Marjorie told me about how it really improves patient care experience when they're not working for a private company, because she got the training that she needed to make sure that patients were safe and cared for, training that didn't happen when she worked for the private company that John Rustad had brought in to attempt to and fail to deliver the kind of care that people deserved. You know, the record of a community like Surrey, where not a single new school was built in the 4 years that John Rustad sat around the cabinet table, something that he has still yet to explain to the people of Surrey, is that Surrey was neglected, that we have had to play catch up, opening more than 10,000 student spaces. We've funded 13,000 and there's more to do. But the amazing thing to me is that John Rustad would go on the radio here in Surrey and he would say that his solution to portables, again, is not to build schools in Surrey, that he would stop building schools in Surrey. This is probably the unnecessary spending that he's talking about in his review he announced today. Well, schools in Surrey are not unnecessary spending for us. This is necessary and essential spending. I will not accept a province where the kids in Surrey attend classes that are 20% more crowded, as John Rustad has promised, than any other classroom in the rest of the province. We'll build the schools that Surrey needs. This is necessary spending. It will not be cut under our government. We will build those spaces for students. But also, we'll make sure in those classrooms that there's the educational assistance, the supports, so that kids can be successful, so that teachers can focus on the whole classroom rather than just the one kid that needs the extra support. And we'll make sure there's a counselor in every school so that teachers and administrators can focus on their jobs instead of trying to do something they're not qualified to do, which is support kids with mental health crisis. This is important work. It is critical work, and it is work that will not happen under John Rustad. BC is a place where everyone can build a good life. I know I've got more work to do, that our government's got a lot more work to do, but we won't stop until the job is done. There's the beautiful cover of the platform. My my very charming daughter on the front, and my commitment to her is a stronger province for her when she grows up, and that's the same commitment I make to all British Columbia kids. I want them to grow up in the kind of province where they have endless opportunity to build a good life for themselves and for their own families. Thanks very much.
ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਮਿਸਿਸ ਹੈ NDP ਪਲੇਟਫਾਰਮ ਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹਾਊਸਿੰਗ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਹੈ ਬੜਾ ਮਹਿੰਗਾ ਆ ਖਰਚ ਸਾਰੇ ਲਈ ਅਫੋਰਡ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਸੋ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਵੀ Airbnbs ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੇਣੀ ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਘਰ ਅਫੋਰਡ ਕਰੀਏ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਪਲਾਨ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ ਜਦੋਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਕਲਾਸਰੂਮ ਸਾਈਜ਼ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਵੀ ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਮਿਸਿਸ ਕੀਤੀ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਕਲਾਸ ਸਾਈਜ਼ ਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਮਤਲਬ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਪਰ NDP ਪ੍ਰੋਮਿਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਸਕੂਲ ਨਵੇਂ ਬਣਾਓਗੇ ਤੇ ਨਾਲੇ ਗੰਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ ਵੀ ਗਨਸ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਕੋਈ ਟੋਲਰੈਂਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ ਗਨਸ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਲਤੇਜ ਡਿਲਨ ਆ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਇੱਥੇ NDP ਲਈ ਖੜਦੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਵੀ NDP ਗਨਸ ਦੇ ਖਿਲਾਫ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਮਸਲਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਹੱਲ ਕਰੂਗੇ ਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਮਿਸਿਸ ਇਹ ਆ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਸੋਨੀਆ ਵੈਸਟ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਫॉर ਵਾਚਿੰਗ ਸਾਂਝਾ TV ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ